Thank you, Professor Chris Berlin, also my Dharma friend, good teacher, for this invitation. And I'm happy to see some of the familiar faces. Hello all, and it's great to hear that you all have been sitting with Chris Berlin for nearly 2 years. That's great dedication in a pandemic. So I know a lot is going on in the world right now, and some of you are trying to stay calm and stay unaffected at the same time. Also show compassion from your heart to the world. I guess the Metta Sutta, the discourse on friendliness, has the answer to the questions that you have been thinking of, the answers that you are looking for, especially at a time that people are questioning whether we are dealing with the Third World War or what we are actually dealing with. So we are dealing with the uncertainty, that is for sure. And we are also sure that we don't want to contribute to it. And that's a wholesome thought. We don't want to be part of any war. Especially coming from Sri Lanka, I was born with the war, and during my lifetime, the war ended, and that I felt was such a relief when it happened. But there were a lot of killings and hate spread, and there is this irreversible damage to the culture, to the country, to the economy, to lives, and we saw how even in my village, when the war was really heated, I would say, many causalities happened. Many of my friends died and their bodies came to the village, and attending to about 10 funerals on the same day, you can imagine how hard it is on the minds of those people, their families, us, knowing these friends. So war is never the answer. If the mind can start a war, mind can also end a war. So that is what we need to remember. Our job is to not put more fire, more fuel into the raging fires. Our job is to be a calm presence within ourselves. Actually, the war is inside of us. Each and every one of us are dealing with the war. Between our peaceful presence and not so peaceful times within our own being. And the Buddha says, that winning oneself, winning your own heart is the best battle that you win. So we don't look outside. We don't really, because we suffer when we have attachment towards something. And as soon as we see these attachments subside, we see that we suffer less and less and less. So this is really a hard thing to do. And most people think that we live in a big world, or we live in a mansion, or we live in a house, but we actually live in our mind, which is an unlimited area. If regrets are piling and worries are being built, you live in pieces, you don't live in peace. This is why we come to meditate. We make it a habit that we meditate. So today, I saw that Professor Berlin shared this email in which patterns of Vipassana meditation or something like that was shared. Even before going to Vipassana meditation, when I mentioned about patterns, we see patterns in life. To identify the patterns within our own non-meditation life sometimes is very important, because there must be a karmic connection why we do certain things in a certain way, and we don't seem to overcome it within this lifetime. For example, I have a very close friend from a political family in an Asian country, and she married this husband who earned enough money, but she ended up looking after him financially, and she ended up even supporting for his citizenship here in Canada, actually. But she lives in the United States, and now they are divorced because of his affairs, other relationships that she found, and she realized this was not going to work. So she decided to look after her daughter on her own and let go of him completely without getting any child support or anything. And now, about 10 years later, although her political family is proposing many politicians, parliament members as future husbands, now she has found herself in a situation that there is this person who doesn't have a job, who lives in that Asian country, wanting to come see his mother here in the United States, and trying to get married to her. And she feels like she needs to help this person. So when she spoke with a nun who's also known to me, a Buddhist nun, she said, "You see, there is a pattern here. You need to identify this. You helped that man before who cheated on you and went away and didn't look back whether you were doing good or not. And you will see yourself, trying to welcome another person to your life against the will of your father and mother or siblings who are doing great, who are not like this. They are, especially her siblings, one of them is a doctor, married to another doctor. So in that kind of a family, there's a lot of expectation from her too, that don't repeat the same mistake you did before. So when she heard that there is a thing like a pattern being repeated, um, she realized that maybe I need to really sit and meditate and find the answer to these questions, whether I should move on with that person who is willing to come to the United States without having a degree, without having a job, without having any money, and that whether she should look after him or whether to stay single and just focus on her spiritual path. And that person who is going to come, if he comes, he likes meditation, and she thinks that that is a sign that she will also be meditating together with this person. And I said, of course you will be, but meditation is also done individually, not always together. So I think as monastics, it's great that that nun helped her see the pattern in her life, and also she's able to speak with us and see what is going on, and she trusts us so much, that she share these things, even sharing texts that her father sends to her. In that, the word pattern really emerged as in every one of us. You can see some patterns, in life. And now, when you come to meditation, the same thing happens. It's a different life. In meditation also, we see ourselves repeating the same mistakes again and again, and we feel like, okay, now I feel great here in my face, and this is where I feel like doing good meditation. So let me expect that next time too. So we create that kind of an expectation in our mind. And sometimes, when you don't feel that way in meditation, you feel like you are not doing great in your meditation. And there you find a little attachment to some stage of your experience of meditation. And expectation leads to disappointment, obviously. Your wisdom already knows that, but you still expect it. I should feel this way, and that is when I feel good in meditation. So this is one of the ways to really now when you're observing that this is happening to you, then I think you need to step back and let things be. There's no you needing any involvement with that experience, or even creating an expectation in that experience. When it comes to understanding both tranquility and insight meditation, samatha and vipassana, I think I've shared this before. It is like the two sides of a coin. They both exist together. Uh, it's like the palm. When you look at this side, the other side also exists. So samatha on this side and vipassana supporting on the other side. So these are inseparable. The Buddha taught them together. There is no you doing samatha first and vipassana second. The moment you begin doing samatha, your insight comes and help you, support you, lift you up every time you fall. So it's always present like your breath. So when there is any stillness cultivated, any tranquility cultivated, right there, before you fall into any of the five hindrances, such as, giving into lust, giving into hatred, delusion, and giving into doubt, um, and sleepy nature like sloth and torpor, and restlessness, your insight comes and tells a simple thing like, this is impermanent. This too shall pass. And there is wisdom there. You see that insight, telling you that you don't have to fall prey into this pitfall in meditation. They can be buried with a little bit of effort in your meditation. So you make sure you see this pattern in you, that there is anger arising in you, so you become restless, and so you notice that you don't feel like meditating. What if your insight tells you that this is impermanent? You don't have to be this experience. This is not you. It is like rain, and it doesn't rain forever. Rain certainly stops, and there will be no storm. And you didn't have to control that storm. You just needed to wait and find peace within you. And your insight, vipassana, definitely. Passana means seeing. Vipassana means seeing in a special way. So your special way of seeing tells you that this is how things arise. When causes and conditions are present, things arise. What if your insight tells you these causes and conditions disappear, so the results also disappear? That is how you understand that things that are present in your mind are not there forever, and they are not even you. So it's how you can look at the news that are flooding about different war crimes and what is happening in one country and why they are doing this. So all that is that information. Actually, and honestly, we are dealing with not just a pandemic, we are dealing with an infodemic. So much information coming your way. This is why I turn off, I don't have a TV all my life. And I never watch any of these news. So I don't really, all I know is what other monks are speaking about at the time after the meal. That is how I know what is happening in the world. And I feel so liberated that I didn't have to go looking for this information. I don't turn on the TV and look for it. Because every country has their own reasons. As a Sri Lankan, I can say a so-and-so country was supportive in some past event. And then maybe the other country also was supportive. So which side should I take? No side. No side is easy for me. But we can speak of peace. We can speak of ending every war. We can speak of seeing the Dharma, that hatred is never appeased with hatred. Only by friendliness that hatred is appeased. When we see Dhamma that way, we live in Dhamma, and Dhamma comes and protects you. That is why the Buddha said, Dhammo havi rakkati dhammachari. Those who live the life of Dhamma, that Dhamma that you understand and practice comes and protect you like an angel protecting you. The idea that, we live in our minds, which is an unlimited area, we can make it as big as you want, but in a totally harmless way, in a way that is beneficial, filling it with so much friendliness is, you are the first person to benefit from it. And the thought that I wanted to share is that the Buddha has said that, to monks especially, your indebtedness to people you will not be indebted even if you practice friendliness for one moment in your life. Because people look after monks by providing meals, no matter how much hardships they go through in Theravada tradition. So the Buddha said, just practice metta for one moment, and that is enough to clear your indebtedness. You see, immediately your mind becomes calm. So how powerful metta is that way.
It sort of rewrites the script even just in one moment. You're shifting that karmic tendency from reactivity and even one moment of true sort of settling into metta. It's like it's a whole game changer. Yeah.
Really, one moment of avoiding anger can can save 100 days of suffering. That one moment can save a lot of trouble for you. That destructiveness will disappear. That you wanting to destroy something or someone, you pass that moment, right? Right then you see the calmness, you see the light, you see the wisdom. It's amazing to resort to metta. So radiating metta toward Ukraine and Russia will be the best thing to do.
Thank you.